Guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some remedies for seasonal sniffles. I know many of us probably struggle with this, especially this time of year as we're entering into spring, especially if you live somewhere like I do, like upstate New York, where you are constantly having different weather patterns every single day, but especially as we're transitioning from the season of winter into the season of spring, there's a lot of blooming and blossoming happening, and for sure some sniffles come along with that. So obviously this is going to be from a holistic perspective, stuff that I found that works for me, stuff that has worked for my Ayurveda clients, and I just kind of, speaking of Ayurveda, want to give you a little bit of a background of what exactly is going on during this time of year that is making us a little bit more congested. So if you are new to Ayurveda, if you have no idea what Ayurveda is, I do recommend checking out this video. I have just an in-depth video of what is Ayurveda. So check this out. I'm going to have it linked up. You can swipe it up and you can see it for yourself. It's like a short video, just to some basic information that I elaborate on a little bit more in that video. But Ayurveda essentially is a holistic health practice originated in India thousands of years ago. And it's using holistic approaches to heal parts of our bodies, parts of our minds, and balance us. Ayurveda is all about finding where we are imbalanced and balancing us through lifestyle changes, through dietary changes, and really whatever we need to focus on within our health. And so again, we do that through the food that we eat, what we're putting into our body, what we're putting on our body, the things that we're listening to, the things that we're indulging in, what we're doing with our life, our exercise, all the things. There's so much that goes into Ayurveda. And there are these things called doshas with Ayurveda. They are our biological humors. And so as we're shifting into this season of spring, we're focusing on what's called kapha dosha. So each dosha has a different element. And these elements, I want you to think about the qualities of these elements, not like literally thinking that these elements are within our, not like literal in your body. I mean, some like water obviously is an element that is in our body. But anyway, so one example and how we'll really relate it to what we're talking about today is the springtime. Each dosha, there's 3 doshas, is correlated with a different season. And so in the springtime, we focus on what's known as kapha dosha. And now the elements of kapha are water and earth. And so a way that really helps me remembers the season that kapha correlates with, is think of what this season of spring kind of brings, especially like, again, if you're in an area like upstate New York where it gets really rainy in the springtime and there's just kind of like mud everywhere. Think about that. That's water and that's earth mixing together. So that's a really helpful way to think about it. But then think about the quality of that mud. There's like stickiness to it, sliminess to it, and there's just like, it's just kind of sticky, right? Now, think about what happens within us when we are going through this seasonal shift. There's a lot of times mucus production. Again, those same qualities that are happening out there with the seasonal shift happening within our body as well. And as you start to root yourself more in Ayurveda and more holistic approaches, you will start to become more in tune with nature and notice, oh, when it's dry outside, my body feels more dry. When it's moist outside, sorry everyone who hates the word moist, but you're a little bit more sticky. I hate myself sometimes. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to leave that in there so that you guys can maybe laugh at that. But anyway, so moral of the story is when we're shifting our seasons out there, there's a lot of shifts that are happening within us as well. And so that's why we're starting to see maybe mucus production, whether it's in our chest or in our nose, or maybe even within our sinus cavities. Maybe our eyes are starting to get itchy and watery. This is all normal this time of year. But the thing is, you don't have to suffer through this. There's remedies that can absolutely help with this. So let's actually go into that. What I here first for you is I will talk about the essential oils that I recommend using this time of year. And then I will talk about the habits to actually stack with your oils. You guys know I'm really big on, if you're going to use essential oils, make sure that you're stacking them with healthy habits. That's really going to maximize your benefits for sure. And then obviously, disclaimer as always, I am only speaking on doTERRA's essential oils. I am not speaking on any other essential oils for so many different reasons, but that's a different topic for another time that I will get into, I'm sure, many more times. But actually, what's really great about the oils that I'm talking about today is if you have ever purchased doTERRA's essential oils, you probably have 3 of these oils that I'm talking about, because they're actually like the trio. They are some of the most beginner-friendly oils that a lot of people start with, and they are lavender, lemon, and peppermint. But when used together, they're really great for our sinuses, our sinus cavities, making sure that we're breathing clearly and cleaning up our body in order to get rid of some mucus production, especially. So I'll go over each of them a little bit more in depth. Each of these oils do so many different things, so I really want to stay focused on solely talking about seasonal threats here. So the first one I'll talk about is peppermint. Peppermint is a really great essential oil for supporting our respiratory system. It actually increases our oxygen by 20%. So that's why I recommend peppermint for sure. Actually really great for digestion too, which I know doesn't seem like it correlates with our allergies, but it does. So peppermint, great for digestion, also great for the respiratory system. Lavender. Lavender is very calming and soothing. So not only calming and soothing for the mind, but calming and soothing for the body as well. It's actually known as like natural Benadryl, if you will. And so that's why lavender is within this recommendation as well. And then lemon. Lemon is extremely cleansing, extremely purifying. So with lemon, this is a great one to, we're doing some sort of deep clean within our house. It's great to clean with lemon essential oil, but it's actually really great, doTERRA only, of course, to take internally because it's actually helping to cleanse out anything that's within our. Two more things I want to touch on before I get to the remedies. So there is a proprietary blend of essential oils known as Breathe. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is a respiratory blend of essential oils. I personally like to use this roller bottle just because I think it's a little bit more convenient. It does come in a bottle form too if you want to diffuse it, but I will roll this all over my chest, especially if I'm going to be spending a lot of time outside, especially before a workout to really open up my airways. But yeah, especially if I'm going for a run because those little pollen things are all flying all over the place. Okay, and the other thing is Try Ease. So all of these oils I talked about, aside from the Breathe, are safe to take internally. I cannot stress the importance of doTERRA only enough. But if you don't really want to create your own capsules or, you can mix them in water and take them in that way. But if you don't want to do that, doTERRA actually makes these soft gels, which are literally just these little beadlets filled with lavender, lemon, and peppermint. So what I do is I actually take two of those a day. I take one in the morning and one at night. That really helps me. I only take those during like high allergy seasons. That's not a daily practice for me all year round. Okay, so now moving into the remedies. I know I said we're going to habit stack the oils with the remedies, but I just want to be super clear in saying that we're not using oils with this. This is a neti pot. We do not use oils with this. We do not put essential oils up our nose or in our eyes or in our ears, okay? Super clear on that. Okay, so this is a neti pot. This is really helpful for making sure that we're really clearing out anything that is blocked within our sinus cavities. Now, the thing with this, you guys, is this is actually something that should be used as a precautionary tool for our allergies. It should be actually used before we move into our allergy season, not when we're in the midst of it and we're super congested, because if you've ever used a neti pot when you are already super congested, it doesn't really work out. It literally just gets stuck and it comes out the same nostril and it's just a literal mess. So what you would do with this is you want to make sure that you're using clean water. I probably would not recommend filling this with sink water. What I personally do, this is just what I do, is I will boil water at night and then I will let it sit in a tightly sealed mason jar, and then I will use that the next day. I wouldn't let that sit for too long either. Like I would make sure it's less than like even 12 hours. That's just the practice that I do. But if you have, some sort of filtration system with your water or whatever, then, just be mindful of how clean your water is that you're literally putting up your nose and through your sinus cavity. So you'll fill it with like lukewarm room temp water is what I personally like to use. You do not want it to be hot water. And you literally stick it up one nostril, tilt your head, and then it will stream out gunk and stuff that's stuck in your sinus cavity. It gets real gross, but it works really, really well. I was just looking back and I made a typo. It's neti pot, not netto pot. Whatever. Also, this is getting so long. I should have just done an IGTV story. Whatever. Once again. So I just want to go over a couple more habits. So obviously when there's congestion in our body, there's a lot of stagnation happening. So we want to make sure that we are moving that and breaking that congestion up. So kapha is a season, dosha that is slower and duller. Think about if you were to like hold mud and just kind of let it, it slowly kind of oozes. And so the same thing kind of happens with our body. Things maybe start to slow down a little bit. You might notice this within your digestion. You might notice this in just so many different areas. So making sure that we're actually moving our body and moving our lymph is really important, especially taking care of our circulatory system. So we can do that by dry skin brushing. You literally would just do long strokes up towards your heart. You could do that with abhyanga, which is a self-massage. You could use like sesame oil or even a nice coconut oil and just massage, really moving that lymph. And then obviously exercise. This exercise is so important for so many different reasons, but especially this time of year, breaking up that congestion. So if you practice yoga, I definitely would recommend getting into some twists. This will really help with the congestion too. I know this is like seems kind of silly, but even something as simple as like doing this, like you wake up in the morning, you're starting to feel congested, just like do some really gentle little movements and gentle little twists to really kind of get stuff moving and get things breaking up. And then, is that all I wanted to go over? Oh, the dietary stuff. So also, this is a time of year that would be really beneficial to add spices into your diet. So think about spices. They're spicy. They have a kick to them, and a lot of times they can actually help to break up our congestion. If you've ever like eaten wasabi, you know this. Like your nose starts running, you start maybe coughing stuff up, and I'm not saying to go, spoonful wasabi, but definitely start adding some spices into your routine as well. I have oils that are spices I'll gravitate towards to this time of year, whether it's just, taking the spices in some way internally or cooking with them as well. So those are just some helpful tips for dealing with this seasonal shift. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you are interested in working one-on-one for your specific health needs, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm accepting offers for Ayurveda clients right now. And yeah, that's it. I hope that you guys have a great day. I hope that you escape the sniffles, and I will talk to you soon.
Last but not least, we have Sabrina Bonaiuto. So Sabrina is fairly new on her doTERRA journey, but she's already a gold leader from the state of New York. So Sabrina, what